Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It's episode 133. It looks like some of these things like recharge, which is nice. Okay, let's work on this. Go away. Can't read. 98% chance to hit and 5% critical chance. That's pretty sweet, actually. Another scrap container. Right, while we're at it. And before I forget, $190, that's pretty sweet. Let's cargo that one. So that's the crit one. Let's cargo that one as well. Okay, for some reason I've got a third copy of that. It's not needed. Okay, that's out of date. Medium range doing a lot more damage, or long range doing a little bit less damage. No, actually, because the other one's 2 shots, so this is actually just... That's simply inferior. That's potentially a trade. Okay, these items are... they have some, like, potential. These are both really good. And I can get them both. Okay, he's actually better at that. Jay is better at tech than Pascal. That's hilarious. Okay. No suitable cargo. What is left? A 15-speed engine. You know, that's just not necessarily that good. I think I would rather have 9 points of protection on every side than 12 points on the sides and 5 on the front and back, because you have very little control over the battles. You could be completely surrounded in a battle. Very easily can you be completely surrounded. How high do I actually need to get this? If a target hit by this flamer's attack is suffering from burning at the end of its turn, that target explodes. Yikes. War Hymn and Furious Recital increase the rate of fire of this bolter by the number of enemies affected by War Hymn or Furious Recital. Interesting. It's not going to be as good as that Mega Bolter though. Wow, those armors are amazing. I thought I had this military combi tool. I already thought I had this item. It seems familiar. Okay, I'm not sure like many of these items are actually that useful, but hey. There we go. Excuse me. think we'll leave that one alone. Cursed boots. Okay. Why are these not stacked? Oh, these don't come with 2 charges. Okay, so they might be useful for getting rid of injuries. But they might not be so useful for combat healing. Okay, alright. Well, that was quick. That was easy enough. Right, we have many side quests to do. Just gain some profit factor. Your Lordship, a cryptic message has arrived from Kiva Gamma. The Fabricator sensor reports that they beheld the Eye of the Divine. Request details from your less devout servants, and they clarified that the Inquest Group, which has been investigating the many inexplicable events that have taken place on our planet, followed a trail of the mysterious binaric harmonics and came upon an ancient and abandoned data complex. It is connected to a manufactorium by a maze of communication lines and contains a gargantuan data loom. The mechanism's markings show that its designation, or I should say rather its menacing name, is Null Salif. Caliph? Null Caliph is immersed in sacred astrogatational? What the hell? Calculation, and has shown no inclination to make contact. Tech priests that are connected to it were punished for the intrusion with a lethal ejection of the motive force. The only thing they managed to find out is that the spirit of the data loom is not bound with the vows of compliance that would normally restrain a machine spirit of such power. This astoundingly mighty entity bows to no one, driven only by its own aims. It's an ancient production facility, far older than the colony itself. Some assembly lines bear the mark of the Cognizance fleet. Perhaps the first explorers who came to the Cronus Expanse set up a station on the yet uninhabited planet. The station was then consumed by the developing industrial colony and eventually forgotten. It's possible that whatever plans they had for it was so clandestine that its creator's death ended up casting it into oblivion. The directory contains no data to support this hypothesis. It does, however, contain a designation Null Caliph. The Null Caliph Initiative is a project of the fabled Archmagos Opticon 107, whose function was the additional exploration of the Cronus Expanse. All information on this project was removed from the directory as per the Fleet Conclave's decree following the Permissibility Hearing 16. At the same decree, Archmagos Opticon 107 was stripped of his title as the Conclave's Perlocurior Supremus. A sacred computational mechanism of great power, its body is vast, and wisdom and metal of its machine spirit would befit an imperial titan. Machines of such might and splendor are kept carefully hidden from the eyes of the laity and worshipped on certain planets as great Logis oracles. Sacred angels of the Omnissiah, or demigods. Null Caliph's structure includes remarkable pieces of astrotech, parts of it extending far throughout Kiva Gamma like a void kraken's tentacles. We now know where the warp transmitter modified by Cubus Delphum came from. It must have been part of this mechanism. The data angels we encountered earlier were born of its cogitational might. Full of vigor, they soar around its computational aura, which radiates into the new sphere. The response to our presence has been favourable thus far. Because your servants have been monitoring the execution of Procedure OC, they rather boldly believe that they have gained some insight into certain patterns of its supercalculation. They claim that they could help achieve an understanding with Null Caliph, or defeat it in battle. All we have is a hypothesis, according to which Null Caliph can see into the warp similar to a navigator. Any interaction between technology and warp is, as you're well aware, kept under careful supervision of the Adeptus Mechanicus. So you can imagine how unique this mechanism is. According to the Magi, it can calculate routes through the Immaterium without rest or fear of corruption. Given the fact that it has no human soul, they claim its power is comparable to that of a Novator of a Navigator house. Apparently, Procedure OC was initiated by this mechanism to integrate Magi with high psychic potential in order to expand its own computational capacity. Currently, its calculations operating at full capacity are approaching completion. We can assume the perfect execution of Procedure OC contributed to this. The Great Calculator seems indifferent to mortals, and has expressed a lack of desire to interact with us or destroy us. Tech priests reach out to Null Caliph once more using certain excerpts from the dictates of Procedure OC, and the machine's reaction was benign. It showed no hostility. Great machine spirits that identifies itself as Null Caliph bears potential as a valuable ally, one that could replace the need for navigators comprised of fallible flesh. We must make contact with this holy entity, for to do so is to honour the Omnissiah's tenets. That the tech priests who had the audacity to disturb Null Caliph were deprived of their motive force is a testament to the might of its data voice. I hold the knowledge to create a mediator that could interface with the fearsome machine spirit and ease the burden of its revelations on unprepared minds. If it stares into the warp, then it is vulnerable to attacks from the warp. I never thought I'd suggest something like this, but if we want to make that machine obey us, we should assault it through the Immaterium. A Navigator data loom. This abomination makes a mockery of every Navigator's house legacy. The very fact of its existence is profoundly sickening and vile. Null Caliph must be destroyed post-haste. Allow me to send word to the other Navigator houses. They will waste no time in dispatching their forces to destroy this monstrosity. Well, you would say that. This is like Weavers going mental because someone has invented the wool loom machine. We're all going to be replaced by machines eventually. I think I'll go with this one. She gets to roll twice as well. Magos Pascal Horneman imparted his secrets to the Omnisci's servants on Kiva Gamma, allowing them to assemble a mediator device that softened the Null Caliph's voice. The Magi then prayed to the mighty machine spirit, humbly asking it to make an alliance with the rogue trader and share its mysteries. And Null Caliph answered, halting its sacred calculation, it bestowed its favour upon the supplicants. With its tireless, unblinking eye observing the warp currents, many a traveller have been saved from peril. Okay. What was the item? Grants 25 logic. The wearer gains the Solve Simulacarium ability that costs 3 AP and triggers a logic test for the wielder with a minus 167 penalty. That's a really specific number. On success, Solve Simulacarium is removed. The Koji Salacarium is destroyed. The 25 logic bonus is lost. And the wearer permanently gains the Paradox Solved feature. Paradox solved. This character can use their heroic act regardless of their momentum without spending momentum. Wow, so basically you just try and solve this logic test during battle repeatedly until you succeed, and then you get to use your heroic act forever. Who's even got enough logic to attempt it? Nobody right now. I guess with this equipped, barely. This would be most powerful on the main character because the main character can immediately trigger a heroic ability on another character, but not on themselves. Although his ultimates are not that exciting. If I remember correctly. Officer is actually the one that's good. Well, that's certainly interesting. But none of my characters are actually good enough to solve that data tablet just yet. Even if I set up for it. Your Lordship, hailing the ships surrounding the Hermetico's wreck led to receiving the following transmission. We are the Constance Fleet. We praise the Messiah of discontinuing. We remain in prayer. We remain on standby. Let the cycle be discontinued. The Omnissiah alone is all comprehensible. Confirmed. The number of adherents to discontinuing the cycle does not correspond with earlier prognosis. Willingness to declare one's commitment to the teachings of the Blessed Armanet is anomalous. This unit is intrigued. Yes, your lordship, we are picking up traces of combat on many of the vessels, numerous traces. Based on the initial radiation background assessment, it appears that an Adeptus Mechanicus weapon has been used against them. I hypothesized that the schism within the Constance fleet has reached a climax. My tech comrades raised arms against one another. It's with sorrow that I register this information in the archive. Your Lordship, according to the ship's registry, we are looking at the Arc Mechanicus Hermetico. We picked up the Vox signal coming from her. Permission granted. May the Messiah discontinue and reveal the way to a safe docking gate. The raspy voice of the person who recorded the message is vaguely familiar to you, but you cannot put your finger on it. Requesting the right to participate in the first boarding party. Evaluating shuttle docking options. Not at the moment. The damage to the hull makes observations difficult, and surviving vacuum locks are sealed shut. I hypothesize proper vacuum lock may be opened using my personal access code justification. A message from the Arc Mechanicus. Each Arc is a sanctuary for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Every such ship is a relic. They are incredibly ancient and were made to search for the sacred standard template construct patterns. Legends tell of entire forge worlds that were literally disassembled for parts to make such vessels. Wow. In any case, she's a ruin of her former glory. Will observe numerous traces of internal decompression. Not a single sign of aggression carried out from the outside. From what it's worth, some of the decks look intact, at least from the outside. Also picking up strange radiation emanating from the hull. We believe the ship has been in the processional of the damned for a long time. Bored. Ah, it's been a while since we last used Pascal, that's for sure. You know what's funny? I think Cassia is quite weak now. She certainly seems to power up a lot more slowly now than other characters do. Even Ulfar, after a while, gets very strong. Obviously, Jay, as the skill monkey, is very weak, but setting that aside, maybe I'll roll without her for a bit. I've used her a lot. It's always good to have the old Xenos perspective. Okay, that's it for now. As we are out of time, I'm going to go through these two characters and actually tool them up.
Ready.
I know how to take risks.
I'm listening.
What is it?
These two could do with some equipping. Yeah, they need some leveling, they need some equipping.
Shirin?
There's plenty to do, basically. But that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time.